Hey Faith welcome back. So Barbie has come out with a new collector doll, and I do in fact really need to rant and rave about this one. Have a little minor public crash out because I just have so many feelings. And despite what that sentence makes it sound like, they're not all negative feelings. Really, there's just one big glaring negative thing about this doll, but it's so intense and it just makes me feel so irrationally upset that I had to sit down and make a video about it and hopefully turn this into something that's a little bit entertaining or perhaps even cathartic for you all. So I think that it's pretty obvious that I'm going to be trashing a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit negative this video. If you disagree with everything I have to say, if you think this is the best doll that's ever been made, that's chill. At the end of the day, it is in fact just a doll. So it's no skin off my back. Just do please be nice about it if you want to express that in the comments down below. And if you find yourself entertained on any level by what I have to offer today, if you could like, comment, subscribe, or hype on this video, that is all super duper helpful to me. But without further ado, we're just going to jump right on in because I have a lot to say. So, the doll that we are discussing, I obviously am going to show you pictures in a minute. I'm just getting the boring stuff out of the way really quick. Is the Barbie Signature Fan Vote Fantastical Realms doll. So, Barbie Signature is the Barbie membership on Mattel Creations, and much like the Fang Club, if you're more familiar with that, like I am, they had a little vote where it was like, hey, what face sculpt do you want? What concept do you want for this doll? So that the community could sort of be involved in how this doll ends up turning out. And now we get to see the result. And that's the part that I have feelings on. So the nitty gritty boring bit of this is that it is a made to order item, again, like the Fang Club, where they're having this order period. You got to get your order in during that time period. And then a year from now, she's finally going to ship out to you. So starting February 6th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when this doll goes on sale on Mattel Creations, and you only have until February 20th of 2026 at midnight Pacific Standard Time to buy the doll. After that, you cannot buy her retail anymore. You're going to have to go secondhand if you decide you want her after that. And the main thing, I need you to really, really, really keep this in mind whilst we discuss everything that we're looking at with this doll. This doll cost $100 US, despite the fact that she is something that is involved with the community, that is attached in some way to the membership. Like with everything else on Mattel Creations, the membership actually doesn't get you any monetary gain. You don't get free shipping. You don't get a discount on the stall if you voted or something like that. No such thing. So she is $100 US baseline plus taxes and shipping. And then of course, for anyone outside of the US, she is going to be more expensive because Mattel. That's just sort of how it is. So with this, the first thing that I want to start off by saying is that this was, again, a vote, and there were three different categories that you could vote for in terms of the theme of this doll. So you could get the goddess, which is what ended up winning. You could get the fairy. I don't think it was, no, okay, it was called mythical creatures, but the image was a fairy. Or you could get alien icons. Personally, I really wanted alien icons just because I think that that's more unique and more interesting for Barbie. Goddess won out, and I'm a little bit disappointed just in the sense that it does feel like the inherently safest option. It feels like the least pushing the envelope option for Barbie for the goddess doll to win. I mean, a goddess is a very nebulous term. At the end of the day, this is a doll in a pretty gown. You could call her a goddess, you could call her a princess. It's sort of just a nice fancy Barbie, and we have seen tons and tons and tons of those. So I was a little bit disappointed to not see either the mythical creatures or the alien icons win, just because, again, aliens would have been super unique for Barbie. They've only done that concept a few times. Fairy would have been less unique. I mean, they had the whole Fairytopia franchise. They're definitely not a stranger to fairies, but I do think that it's been a little bit since they've done a super duper fun fairy, especially on a collector doll. So that could have been cool. I don't know. I do think, sorry if you guys voted for this one, this is just my opinion, I think the goddess is the most boring option. That being said, I was still excited to see how she turned out. The sketch and everything still looked really pretty. I was still okay, yeah, it's not my top choice, but I'm excited to see this doll come into production. I'm excited to see what she ends up looking like when it's not just a drawing, but it's here's the physical doll. And this is what she looks like. And in all fairness, this is a pretty doll. I definitely don't think that she is out and out ugly, but I do think that when you start to look at some of the details and you keep that $100 price tag in the back of your mind, this shit gets a little bit insane. So like this first image that I'm showing you again, like she looks pretty good. I will say right off the bat, I don't love this satiny fabric that they use. It can be done very well, or it can feel extremely cheap. Maybe I'm just being an ass. That is possible. But this looks not like the cheapest that it could be, not like the paper bullshit that you get on like some Mattel Playline dolls. But I definitely don't think that it looks like the best, like nicest sort of satin material. Again, maybe I'm just being mean, but I also think that there are other hints on this doll that sort of make it seem like that could be a possibility. And like perhaps they did skimp out on the quality in certain areas, in several areas, if I'm being honest. I will say what is nice is that the top portion with the embroidery on it, it is embroidery. Points for them there. Listen, I'm knocking the shit out of this doll mostly because of the price tag, but I will give credit where credit is due. There is embroidery, and I'm so glad that this is not just painted on or printed on or anything like that. But the top portion with the embroidery is a completely separate piece. So she has just like a little strapless gown underneath. And that is nice that there's like some versatility there. But I do think that that is perhaps all I can say kindly about the actual like dress. We're going to get into the face and the accessories and the shoes in a minute. We got to take it step by step because here's another picture of the doll. And this was actually the first picture that I saw. And this enraged me so immediately. If you've been here before, you have probably heard me talk about how I love a good dramatic sleeve. I should have worn one today for demonstration purposes, but I didn't plan that far ahead. But I love a good dramatic sleeve. A big fat bell sleeve like this, where it's like long and flowing and drapey. I adore that as a design concept, both for humans and dolls. I just think it's so fun and so pretty and so majestic and all of those wonderful things. This shit is not sitting right, and it does, in fact, piss me off. So, the way that gravity and fabric works on a human scale, which is what a doll is inherently, is like a Barbie doll like this, is inherently trying to replicate, is it's loose and it's flowing and it will fall straight down with gravity because that's just how like the physics of it work. I understand that on a doll scale, this is significantly harder to accomplish because they're just so much smaller. So even if you pick the right fabric, it can be really hard to get that weight that like actually pulls the fabric down in such a way that it looks correct. But I think it can be done, and especially by a company like Mattel, who has just so many resources and so many talented people and so much experience. They could have figured out a fabric that wouldn't have done this. This looks so cheap. I will put in a picture of like not like an edit, but like a little thing with like lines showing how this should lay. So you can sort of see why it looks so ass. The fact that her sleeves, again, which are clearly meant to be drapey and flowy and loose, are just so stiff, like they've been fucking starched. And it's because it's like, it's not the right type of fabric for this scale. This is just a fabric that at Barbie scale, at least, and especially with the embroidery added on, is not going to lay right. And like, again, I know that it's hard. I'm not trying to say that it's like the easiest thing in the world, but I am trying to say that Mattel has absolutely enough experience to know that this would be difficult and to decide to do something different or to decide to use better materials, because when it is laying like this and it's so stiff and instead of being flowy, it just inherently makes the doll look cheaper to me. Like it just makes it look, it breaks the illusion of reality. It breaks the illusion that this could be a real tiny luxurious person, and it's like, no, this is a doll. Like this is inherently a doll, and not even like a particularly, I don't know, I'm not going to say good looking because there are elements that I think are really pretty, but at least in terms of the sleeves, it doesn't look like a ton of care was put into this. It doesn't look like this fabric was carefully selected. It's just like, okay, that's close enough. They won't care. I just hate it. I understand that that might be nitpicky, but it to me it just looks ridiculous. I think it looks really dumb. But to move on to some other elements, we can go ahead and look at the face. I don't really have any complaints about the face. This is an Odile face mold. I love the Odile face mold. I think that the hair, like the swoop bang, was done very, very well. It's giving sort of Aurora, like Disney Sleeping Beauty. I think that that's very beautiful. The accessories, I do have just some questions about. It appears that they are all plastic. Obviously, I don't have this doll in my hands, but it doesn't look like metal to me, especially the like beads on the necklace. That straight up looks like a super cheap keychain, right? I don't know what they're called. I'm sorry. I'll try to find like a picture so I can put it in here so you know what I'm talking about. But like it looks like a super cheap keychain material. It all looks like it's just this metallicized plastic, which like is fine and dandy and doesn't look inherently bad. But mind you, again, this doll cost $100. So I just think that perhaps some metal would have been nice, especially because it's not as though the other elements are making me think that, oh, the budget went there. I don't know where the budget went for this doll. Maybe it's all in the embroidery because that's apparently everything that they put effort into because it sure as shit wasn't these accessories. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being awful. But like nothing, I don't know. I just think it should have been a little bit better. I'm also realizing just now, because I'm scrolling through the pictures that I saved on my phone to talk about this. I did have one other complaint about the outfit. So this image here, you can see the back of her hair. Perfectly acceptable, perfectly nice, but you can also see the back of the shirt. And most importantly, you can see that the embroidery doesn't even go all the fucking way around the shirt. For $100, you too can have embroidery that stops awkwardly at the side seam. What are we doing? Like really and truly and genuinely. It does go all the way around on the sleeves. Small mercies, I guess. I don't know if they're thinking that it's going to stay in box, except I highly doubt that. Wait till y'all see the box. I'm getting too excitable. I have to calm down a little bit, or else I'm going to start yelling way too soon. So like maybe they're like, oh, it's going to stay in the box, or the hair's going to hide it. We don't have to put the embroidery there. But also, there have been some really, really lovely collector dolls that have details in the back that you're never going to see if it stays in box, or you're never going to see if you just display it from the front, but it's still there because the people who made it cared about the quality of the doll, regardless of whether it was something that was going to be seen 100% of the time. I think it's insane that for $100, we do not get a continuous pattern. That is genuinely fucking bonkers to me. So I had to complain about that too. Then there is the shoes. That's sort of the last on doll element, and then we'll get to the box, which, believe it or not, I do think is in fact the most egregious part of this whole thing. I'm trying to like keep it together. I cannot figure out what color these shoes are because in the image that I was complaining about the sleeves, if you zoom in, they look pretty stark white to me. If you look at this like picture of just the shoes, they almost seem like they have a gray cast, but in fairness, these are shot on like a pink background, so maybe something with the lighting or like the colors around it is messing up the color. So if we just zoom in for now on the first picture that I showed you of the doll to the shoes, with this, with the white background, they look a little bit more like they're a cream color. I can't really tell. I think it's just like, again, one of those things where like the lighting and stuff must be making it sort of hard to tell what color these are. It doesn't necessarily matter because what I really want to complain about is not inherently the sculpting, but the lack of painted detail. So if we take a look at this shoe and you really zoom into it, it does have some decent sculpting. I think this doll is supposed to be like a goddess of fortune, like Lady Fortune or something like that. So that's why there's all the coin imagery sort of everywhere. You can see there are coins sculpted onto the shoe. It looks like there's supposed to be like beads, quote unquote, connecting the coins on the shoe, but it doesn't read that way to me. And I do understand that Barbie is not like exactly known for their shoes in the same way that Monster High to a certain extent is. They also have very, very tiny feet. So I know that sculpting on that scale is even harder because it's not even like, oh, it's just small because it's doll scale. It's like, no, this is just about as small as doll feet will get. Like they're so teensy tiny. I know the sculpting is hard, but it doesn't look delicate enough to look like coins and beads. It just looks really chunky and awkward and like, dare I say, almost modern. Like they're going for a goddess vibe, but I'm just not getting that. And I do think some painted detail on the shoe would have helped like make those gold coins stand out a little bit more. Perhaps if they had been done with like a metallic paint to match all the accessories, it would have helped them stand out. It would have enunciated. That's that's not the right word, but it would have like made the sculpting more obvious and made the separation of the different elements on the sculpt more obvious so they wouldn't have looked so ridiculous. But as it is, they just look really clunky and really awkward to me. And again, I know that like a ton of painted detail on Barbie shoes is not really their MO, but once again, I find myself asking, where the fuck did the budget for this doll go? because it wasn't the shoes either. And it definitely, the shoes could have used it. Just a little, just a tiny bit of painted detail. But the worst part, mind you, again, $100. I know I've said that so many times. I know you're all probably sick of me, but it's so important for you to know this is $100 because when I show you this box, if you haven't seen it before, you're gonna lose your shit. You're gonna be just like me. This is the box for $100. So the outside like panel that pulls off is whatever. It's got like a filigree design, it has Barbie in the middle. Okay. The backdrop, it's pretty enough. I do think that the backdrop is like kind of nice. The way the clouds sort of shape around her, that's fine. The plain plastic is I don't know. I feel funny critiquing boxes because I'm actually someone who doesn't care at all about boxes because I take all of my dolls at least partly out of box and most of them completely out of box. That's just my personal preference as a collector. So like I tend to care less about boxes, but even I can tell that this is not up to par. The fact that there's not any decoration on the plastic at all on the outside, like anything on the corners to make it feel a little bit more ethereal and exciting, maybe like some shimmering sun rays to sort of play off the background, literally anything. No, we don't get any of that. And the worst part is the bottom. Okay, so the bottom has this stripe of like this goldish, like champagne sort of gold color that has Fantastic Realms Fortunae written on it. So again, like the goddess of fortune. First of all, that text and everything, dead ass looks like something that I would have whipped up in Microsoft Word if you told me I had 1 minute to make text to go on this box. This looks so rushed and so unprofessional. It is honestly hilarious. And I'm genuinely trying so hard not to scream right now. The worst part is that it's not even centered. If you look at this and you look at like the strip top to bottom, the words are closer to the top than they are to the bottom. They could not even be bothered to center their shitty ass text on their shitty ass. And this is especially egregious because like even on a playline level, I think that people would be critiquing this box. This is a collector doll designed for adult collectors who are the target demographic or who are the demographic who are most likely to decide to keep their doll in the box, for whom the box matters the most, for whom the box needs to be an additional selling point, a display piece. This is not a display piece in any capacity. It looks janky. Like, it just doesn't look right. And this is what you get for $100. So for like the 1000th time this video, I have to say, where in the world did the budget go to? Is the hair made of gold? Hello? Because the genuinely only nice things I can say about this doll are the base design is solid. We'll talk about like designers and everything a tiddly bit at the end. The fact that there is embroidery is really good, and I'm assuming that the hair fiber is like nice. And yeah, okay, the face looks good too. That's it. Nothing else about this doll in any capacity makes me feel like this is high quality enough to come even close to being worth $100. And to just like really exemplify that, I'm gonna show off just pictures because that way it's like nice and clear and crisp for you all. But pictures of stock photos, mind you, too. So like this is Mattel comparing to Mattel directly. It's not just me like taking super flattering pictures of my own dolls. Of two collector Barbies that I have that were also around this same price point. So that you can really get a feel for what you could have gotten for $100 versus what apparently they are willing to give you now. The first doll is the Styled by Design second Barbie, I think. I think it was the second one in the line. She's inspired by Filipino culture. She's a very beautiful doll. Some things I would like to highlight on this are that she has full articulation, which I didn't touch on the, what is it called again? I literally cannot remember to save my life. Fantastical Realms doll. The Fantastical Realms doll has like the model muse body, but it is a slightly adjusted body so that the arms are articulated. I know some people are excited about that because apparently that's like a type of body that they don't do very often. And that is fabulous if you're a Barbie collector who loves like gathering up different types of bodies. But I do think it's important to note that like because it is the Model Muse legs, it's not even like the budget went into the articulation because she only has articulation on the top half. Whatever. So the Style by Design 2 Barbie has full articulation. I'm talking like the normal points of like shoulders and hips, but also knees, elbows, and wrists. So fully articulated. She has really nice, like quality fabrics. And I can say that. Granted, I can't say that for the Fantastical Realms one because I don't have her in hand and I'm not going to have her in hand because I sure as shit am not going to buy that doll. But I have had that doll in my hands, the Style by Design too. She has genuinely nice fabric. She has flowing fabric that was actually made of a textile that flows, that can drape a little bit nicer, that can look the way that it is supposed to. She has a brocade style fabric for her skirt. She has an incredible shoe sculpt that is like so specific to her design and also has ribbons that lace it onto her body. She doesn't have metallic pieces either. Her crown and like her fancy arm jewelry and everything are plastic. But also there's such incredibly gorgeous, unique sculpts. Like the hand jewelry alone is diabolically beautiful. It's so, so cool. And she has special tattoos. And she cost $100. Granted, that was like 2 years ago. And I understand inflation is a thing, even within like a very, very short time period. And I understand like tariffs. And like, I know there's a lot that has gone on since then. So my next example is a little bit closer. This is the second tribute to fashion Barbie. I don't know why I was just picking like seconds in series for this, but they're dolls that I have. And she, I think, is the most recent collector Barbie that has come into my collection that's like a new release, not my most recent purchase, but as far as Barbies that, were recently produced, she's the most recent one to come into the collection. Granted, she was $110, okay? So I understand there was a $10 difference. But still, she had a nicer box. She has really beautiful hair. She has a dress that is like top to bottom, just gorgeous, shimmery, glittery, with tons of tassels that go all the way around. She has a huge long cloak with like the fur and everything. She is on a Model Muse body, so I feel like this is a reasonable comparison here. Like everything about that doll feels, again, so nice and so high quality and so just carefully constructed, and it genuinely feels like Mattel gave a shit when they produced her. She's only $10 more than this Fantastical Realms Barbie. And yet you get, again, the design that goes all the way around. You get like more fabric on the doll in general because she has this huge cloak going on. Like you just get something that, to my mind, looks so much more collector. I'm not going to say that that was worth $110 because I think just in general, almost nothing that Barbie comes out with is actually worth the cost. But I do think that knowing that they're not going to lower the cost, she was like worth it for me, if that makes sense. She's only $10 more than the Fantastical Realms doll, but she just looks on another level. I know, you are so pretty. If I didn't know anything about these two dolls, I would guess that there was like at least a $30 price difference between them, not a $10 price difference between them, because I just think that the Tribute to Fashion doll looks so infinitely better in terms of quality, not in terms of design. The design on the Fantastical Realms doll is a little bit more my speed, but in terms of quality, come on. Like, I feel like it's not even close. There's just something like so inherently infuriating to me about continuing to see the pattern that has been a pattern for ages of Barbie's quality going down while her prices only go up. And every once in a while, she does have a hit. Like, I'm not trying to say that literally nothing that she's put out has been good, but it does just feel like it is so much harder for her brand to come out with a doll that feels like it is worth the money. I actually want to check one more. Perfect. Okay. This is another great example. I was only planning on two, but now we're doing three. So this is last year's Dia de los Muertos like special Barbie, the La Llorona Barbie, and she was also $110. She has a full fucking ball gown, like an actual proper ball gown. This was a hit. This is Barbie when she's doing good. Why can't she do this all the time? I don't know. A full ball gown with layers, a huge veil, beautifully uniquely painted hands, and painting on her like clavicle sort of area, and on her chest, and the headpiece, and the earrings. This is a doll that I look at and I go, I want that and I would pay $110 for it. The only reason I didn't is because she released like 2 days before the Aliens collector and I wanted that one more and she sold out. And I'm still deeply sad that I don't have this doll in my collection. Like, they are capable of making good Barbies. They just fucking refuse to for I don't know what reason. And I want to round out this video by making it very clear that all of the vitriol that I have is directed at whoever the fuck is making these stupid quality level decisions and stupid budget decisions, not the designers. The Fantastical Realms doll was designed by Angel Kent, who is a very popular Barbie designer. And in my mind, I feel like he is a very talented Barbie designer. The dolls that he makes, especially the playline level dolls where he has like no budget to do anything with, it still feels like he manages to make something that is like visually cohesive and at least pleasing to look at, even if it doesn't have any articulation at all, and even if it has on a molded top. Like, he genuinely seems like an extremely talented designer who is trying his best to make Barbie look good with what he's given. So I do want to say this is not directed at the designers. This is not me saying like Angel Kent sucks, he can't do shit. This is directed at the people who will not give their talented team the budget and the freedom to create what they could create, because Mattel has some of the most talented people employed for them. Fewer now because they decided to lay them off because corporations, but they have so many genuinely incredible artists who work for them. And instead of letting those artists do what they do best and create incredible things that would absolutely sell well, because people crave beauty and crave quality in the dolls that they buy. Instead, they stifle their designers with these stupid budgets and they don't let them make like what I imagine they want to make. I obviously don't know Angel Kent. I don't know like any of the designers at Mattel. So I can't say that for 100% certain, but I imagine that when he is like looking at this, he has something so grandiose and beautiful in his head and it's just like Mattel will not allow that to happen. Like, they won't just give him free reign to actually make something amazing every single time. And it just kills me. I think it's so sad. I think it's sad for the consumers and I think it's sad for the designers who have all this talent and it can't be put to its fullest use, not through no fault of their own, but just because corporations are horrible and greedy. So that was me yelling at Mattel. Once again, you know what the best part is, guys? Is I have a video planned for next week that is also me yelling about Mattel. I wasn't planning on doing this one. They just dropped the images and then I got so upset. So now they get like 2 rage videos in 2 weeks. Oh well. Hopefully that sort of content is fun for you and it's like entertaining on some level to see me get too upset about this. And hopefully it's sort of like, okay, yeah, my rage is also justified because I'm upset about this. Or maybe you think I'm actually crazy and you just watch because you think it's fun to watch someone lose their mind. That's fine too. Whatever the case may be, please let me know all of your opinions in the comments down below on this doll. Like, I really do need to know if I'm taking this too seriously or if I have like a right to be like, this is actually ridiculous, Mattel. So sound off down below, but I am finally done ranting and raving. We are gonna take like a nice deep breath to get a little calmer. The best part, I have therapy in 2 hours. So I get to go to therapy and be like, yeah, I yelled for X amount of minutes about a Barbie. But we're gonna calm down for now. That's everything that I needed to say. I hope it was fun for you guys on some level. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.